What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Kyle Bazzi here, president at Benzinga.com with the Benzinga.com Fintech Awards. Well, up next is one of my personal favorites, Mr. Andy Swan from LikeFolio. What's up, Andy?
Hey, good to see you.
Now, I don't know if anyone knows the story, but I'll make this on the internet so it's forever ingrained. Benzinga does not exist without Mr. Andy Swan. We talked in the early days, years and years ago, of our founder who had a little wishy-washy on whether to start the company or not. And Andy, you were the man that talked him into it.
Yeah, I can take credit for that, or blame, however you want to look at it. Jason's a cool guy, and he's one of those guys that I was like, that he's just one of those guys that you would bet on because he's never going to quit and he knows what he's doing. And so I think he started it almost out of a basement, like sort of that Hewlett Packard type of story, and has grown it from there. So there's only so much credit I can take. Maybe gave him a little nudge in the right direction, but it's all him. Benzinga's one of our favorites. We love it.
We'll make sure one day you get your name on the footer. All right, so let's get into LikeFolio. Very cool company. Obviously, social is huge in the fintech world. Everyone's trying to figure it out. You got a formula that's going on. Give us some background for people that don't know what LikeFolio is.
Sure, LikeFolio. What we do is we take all of English-speaking Twitter. So pretty much every tweet that's pushed out in English, and we look for mentions of brands or products that are owned by publicly traded companies. So iPhone ties up to Apple, and that sort of thing. And so what we do is aggregate all that data and look for investment opportunities based on changes in consumer behavior that we see that can come from changes in the volume of tweets that are going out about a brand, or changes in sentiment about that brand. And so far, it's been really successful.
All right, talk to us about just social in general and trading and investing. What is the opportunity there for people trying to make money?
Yeah, the first thing I always try to say on this is, social data is not a magic bullet for investors or traders. It can be a really solid indicator to use in whatever strategy you're looking for in terms of picking direction or that sort of thing. And so what we really try to do is get people to look for outlier cases, to look for examples. Back in the past when Tesla was starting to blow up on Twitter and people were talking about how great that car was before the stock even moved, that was an indication that the company was gaining popularity. And so we really encourage people to look for outlier events that show shifts in consumer behavior that can lead to the cash register ringing for these companies down the road.
All right, I'm going to play the skeptic for a second and say that that's all going to be lagging indicators. I'm sure you've heard all this before. How can social sentiment actually be predictive on the companies? Do you have some statistics, any numbers or testimonial stuff that you guys have seen to prove that wrong?
Yeah, I mean, we're putting it out every day. We're putting out our data on the line prior to earnings calls. We've had some really successful ones in the retail space on Bebe, Disney, and some others. I agree that social sentiment can be a lagging indicator when you're looking at sentiment about the stock. And that's what I think most companies are doing. That's not our approach at all. We're actually taking data from real consumers who are voluntarily putting this information out on Twitter, and we're looking for their discussions around the brands and products that they're looking at and buying in real time. And so we're seeing those conversations as they're heading to the cash register before they're going to the earnings reports and revenue reports. So we think, so far everything that we've seen is that this is a forward-looking indicator by somewhere between 45 and 120 days. And people that have been following us on Benzinga and other places have seen that played out in the earnings calls.
How do you filter out the noise with so many tweets out there?
Well, there's a ton of noise. I mean, the main thing that we look for is what we call purchase intent phrases. So going to buy, gonna buy, want to get, getting a new. Those tied with these brand names can be really predictive. But the other thing that we're looking for is figuring out these these trend shifts in large numbers. So we don't have to, filter through the noise to find one tweet that matters. What we're doing is looking for 500 tweets, 1,000 tweets that weren't there last quarter that are talking about buying, something as big ticket as a Tesla. That's a pretty big move.
All right, so how does somebody actually access this content and data? How do I use your indicator? Walk me through the user experience.
So there's two ways. First, you could go to LikeFolio.com and just click to connect with Twitter. That'll get you inside of LikeFolio, where you can look up any stock. You can check out what people are saying about that company. Another way is we have integrated inside of TD Ameritrade. So pretty much any consumer ticker inside of TD Ameritrade. The social they have a new social tab there that's all powered by LikeFolio, where you see tweet volume, social sentiment, percent positive, all these things that we're using to analyze these stocks as we go into earnings reports. And of course, just also look for our content on Benzinga and other places. Blog.likefolio.com. We're trying to just push out as much quality stuff as we can.
They say people like hearing their own name. You keep saying Benzinga, it's getting me all excited.
We're trying to win this thing.
Talk to me about, or I want to deviate a little bit from the contest real quick and the awards here. Andy Swan, you're a serial entrepreneur. You've done a lot of things. You just announced the TDA integration with LikeFolio. All these companies that are in the startup phase, there's so much money coming into the fintech space right now. What's advice that you could give them for obstacles that you see they need to overcome, and also how you are been so successful with partnering, with companies like TDA?
Well, I think the reason that we're able to partner with TDA is because we've always put we have a good relationship with them that's grown over time. We've delivered from a product level consistently for 8 or 9 years through other companies that we've had and relationships that we've had with them. So building relationships and being a company that sort of gives first and asks later, I think is a critical thing. I see a lot of fintech companies sort of go out and say, what can you do for me? What can you do for me? Right away in these relationships, and it just puts the wrong taste in people's mouth and makes them very skeptical of what you're doing. And so I think that for us, that's always been the first thing, is build quality stuff and be quality partners that look to improve the value of what others are doing first, and then capture our own value later.
Yeah, amen to that. Giving up first and then asking later is you don't see many people do it, and it makes sense why a guy like you is so successful. All right, talk to us about at the end of these interviews, we always ask a 30-second elevator pitch. Talk to us, wrap it up. Why is LikeFolio one of the most innovative companies out there in the fintech space right now, helping people create wealth, and in doing so deserves to win the Benzinga Fintech Awards?
Well, because we're taking a different approach. We're tying real life Main Street activity to the stock market in a way that resonates with not just active investors or traders, but regular consumers and aspiring investors as well. And so we want to make that connection between the brands you like, the products you love, and the companies behind them, and turn all of that data into actionable signal that investors and traders can profit from. I don't think anyone else is doing that, and we're off to a fantastic start.
All right, staking your claim, and just like the whiteboard behind you says, win, baby, win.
Right.
Andy Swan is the founder of LikeFolio. Thanks for joining, man.
All right, thanks you.
All right, if you want to see more of LikeFolio, go to BenzingaFintechAwards.com. Check them out there, also at LikeFolio.com. You also see on Benzinga Fintech Awards the other 115 companies that apply to show off why they are one of the most innovative companies helping you create wealth. Until next time, this is Kyle Bazzi. Thanks for joining.